So you're going to come to the front of the mat and stand comfortably for pranayama, standing deep breathing. Just take a deep breath. Be mindful about how you put your feet together. Spread those toes. Try to see if you can fit a fingertip between each toe. Have them really spread out. Big toes touching. Stand comfortably, rock a bit. Bend your knees, kind of feel where and how the weight is distributed. And find a final resting position in the back body here. Okay, we're going to take our hands, interlace the fingers, really press the webbing of the fingertips together, and then gently just tuck them under your chin. Your thumbs are crossed and resting against your neck, elbows pointed down for now, and then make sure those shoulders are down and rolled back so that your shoulder blades kind of slide down your back. Chin is level, belly pulled in and strong. Let's inhale here together. And exhale. Let's do one more just like that. Inhale here. And exhale. Open mouth exhale during the rest of this breathing exercise. Inhale and begin to lift the elbows. Keep the hands level under the chin. Elbows lift towards the ceiling. Exhale, gently push the chin back, gaze up towards the ceiling, elbows wrap around and touch in front. Inhale, chin comes down, level to the ground, elbows go up towards the ceiling, belly still strong, spine straight. Exhale, gently push the chin back, elbows wrap around to try to touch in the front. And don't give yourself a back bend here. It's just a head back. Inhale. Lift out of the waist. Exhale. Push the chin back. Inhale. Exhale. Push the chin back. Keep the spine straight. Belly strong. Inhale. Steady gaze, just relax the jaw. Exhale, push the chin back. Eyes up towards the ceiling, elbows touch. Inhale. Stretch up out of the waist, relax the shoulders and jaw. Exhale. Open mouth, exhale. Push all that air out. Inhale. We'll do two more here. Exhale. Last one, let's make it deep and long breathing. Inhale. And exhale. Change. Drop your arms to your side, palms face the front. Take a breath here, settle in. This standing posture is samastitihi, and the idea is to cultivate some stillness between poses. So just stand here and relax and be comfortable with simply standing and breathing. Okay, we're going to inhale, arms up, preparing for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And here's where I like to encourage you to take a few movements of your own from side to side and front to back. Prepare for longer, deeper holding of what I'm doing now. We're going to go front to back as well. I like to take these half circles or full circles with my upper body just to kind of get it ready, warm it up. I know some people in my classes before actually like to kind of start out by doing a bend, touching their toes or squatting down. Really all the different ways you're going to move throughout the day, just give a little check-in for all of them and then we'll get started. So we meet back in the middle. Inhale, arms up, interlace the fingers and then release the index fingers for steeple grip. Shoulders relaxed and away from your ears, even as your biceps are strong and framing your face. Again, check in on how you're standing. Lift the toes up off the mat and really spread them as far apart as you can. If you were maybe going to put fingertips between them, is how much you'd like to have them spread. There's Betty the cat making an appearance. Okay, so stretch out of the waist on an inhale. Exhale, fold towards the right. Just straight line down, which by that I mean your hips and shoulders are square to the front. Hips push out towards the left as your upper body falls to the right. And if you want to make it dynamic and not hold in one still position for so long, you can inhale and find lift, and then exhale and fold. Arms are strong this whole time, and your shoulders and hips are square to the front, like you're kind of trying to squeeze in between a pane of glass as you make this crescent moon shape with your body. This is Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Breathe here. Just try to relax where you can, which is usually in the jaw and shoulders, even as everything else is engaged. Okay, great. Change. Inhale, come all the way up, back to neutral. Take a breath here. Okay. And then inhale out of the waist. Engage everything. On the exhale, we're going to fold over to the other side. So now upper body folds down towards the left, hips push out towards the right. All the while, hips and shoulders are squares. Squeeze everything in like you're trying to squeeze between two panes of glass. Breathe here. And again, I'm going to make mine a little more active this morning by inhaling and coming out just a bit. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Eventually making the shape of a crescent moon with your body. Depending on how tight you're feeling though, your half moon could just kind of look like this, and that's fine wherever you're at this morning, and it's going to be different every time. One side is going to be different than the other. So let's find the depth of your half moon on this side now. And change. Inhale, come all the way up. Keep arms strong and engaged here. Find a neutral position. Lift the chest as we prepare to go back. So this is the back bend, and you can get there safely by keeping arms strong and framing the face. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the gaze, lift the chin. Exhale, push the hips forward towards the front of the room. Inhale, lift. Exhale, push the hips towards the front of the room. You can let the head fall all the way back and look at the wall behind you if that's comfortable on your neck, or you can keep it framed next to your biceps. Breathe here. And change. Go ahead. Come on up. We're headed straight into that fold. Keep the arms engaged, but really come down slowly. Bend at the knees to protect the back. It's our first real deep fold of the day. So my knees are bent. I'm going to walk out my legs here. Oh, rock things out. You can take a squat down if you want. Make any adjustments you need to. And we're going to have knees so deeply bent that you can rest your belly on your thighs. And that can really be almost like a low squat, but you really want to try to glue your belly to the thighs. So belly glued to thighs, knees bent, spine long and straight, and the head and neck are last to go. Let them hang comfortably. Shake out your head if you want to. Loosen up at the neck. Make sure you're not holding a lot of tension by moving your head around a bit in this upside down inverted position. And then take your arms and find a comfortable spot for them. That can be resting just down at the feet or on blocks in front, or in traditional Bikram, in a fold here. We're going to wrap them around the back of our legs and try to find a bind, which means connect your hands with your calves, slide it down your ankles, or the final expression in this one is to cup your heels in your palms. So you're standing on your hands, head and neck are relaxed. Look at the wall behind you and just hold here, belly glued to thighs here still, and just try to lift the hips as you breathe. Inhale and exhale. Remember to breathe even upside down here. Lift those hips. Breathe here. Oh, and change. Frame the face with the arms again and inhale your way up with a lot of care. That is some core strength to bring you back up, and exhale, arms down to the side, Samastitihi. Remember, this is a pose too. We just want to breathe and cultivate stillness in this one. Okay, let's move to awkward pose. There are 3 parts to this one. The first part, step the feet apart about hip width. Inhale, arms up. Even as arms are strong and engaged, remember, if you want to even exaggerate this, bring your shoulders up to your ears and then roll them down and back. Arms are strong. Lift at the toes to make sure your weight is in your heels and the ball of your feet. And then we're going to sit back in the chair, the imaginary chair. Sit back in your imaginary chair. Keep the chest lifted and the booty going back behind you towards the wall. My toes are lifted to make sure my weight's in my heels and a little in the ball of my feet. And then send those hips back. And what keeps you from falling back is that your arms are turned on and activated and pulling towards the front. So arms pulling towards the front, hips go back, strong legs here. Change. Go ahead and come on up, all the way up onto tiptoes like a ballerina. And just hang out right here with arms strong, belly in, chest lifted, high on your toes. And when you found some steadiness here, you could then begin to sit back in that chair once more, high on your heels, or high, yeah, with the heels lifted very high, high on your toes. Some bending at the knees and trying to sink down, but if that takes the height away from what I can do with my feet, then I'm going to back off just a little and practice my balance. Breathe here. And change. Go ahead and let that down, and then with feet hip width apart still, arms still engaged, lift the heels about 1 inch off the mat. Heels lifted, arms strong, bring knees together, and then slowly sink on down the back wall. Heels lifted 1 inch, sink down, chest is lifted, and you can come all the way down if you want. But if your hips meet your heels, lift them back up about 1 inch to really turn on those thighs. So breathe here. Play with how deep you want to go. Turn on the thighs and change. Inhale all the way up, and then exhale, everything comes down. Samastitihi. Feet together, roll those shoulders back, and just take a breath here. Okay, our last pose before we take a water break, eagle pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, right arm under left. Give yourself a hug here. You're going to begin to wrap those arms around one another like ropes so that they twist at the elbows, the forearms, the wrists. Inhale, keep chest lifted. Exhale, sit back in your chair once more. And on the inhale, bring the right leg up, right knee up to meet the elbows, and then slowly wrap it around the left. Your legs are going to mirror what your arms are doing. Now, you want to keep knees in line under elbows and hips square. So if too much of a wrap with your legs causes you to twist or go sideways, then back off of it and just keep your hips square. If this balance is too much, the balance challenge, you can drop your right toe for a kickstand and just sink a little deeper and work on that. There are a couple ways to play with this pose. You can work on balance by keeping the toes lifted, or sink down, work on alignment by dropping the toes. Knees under elbows, either way you decide to do it. You want to keep trying to sink the hips while you keep the chest lifted. And change, let it go. Let everything go, walk it out with your feet. And on an exhale, you move into the other side. So this time, left arm is under right. Left arm under right, the opposite that you had before. And then you begin to wrap the arms in those ropes again. Wrap at the elbows, cross at the elbows. You can stay in the hug if you want to, right here. Or if you want to keep working on wrapping the arms, you can wrap at the elbows, forearms, wrists. Line it up in the middle of your body. Try to bring those elbows down towards your waist as you keep the chest lifted. Sit back in your chair. Inhale. Left knee up all the way to the elbows. Cross over and give it a wrap here. Breathe here. Just on the other side too, just as I said, on the other side, you can drop the left toes for a kickstand or work on alignment, keeping knees under elbows, hips square to the front of the room. Sit back in that chair, even as you keep chest lifted. So go ahead and play wherever you are. Breathe the whole time. Remember to breathe. And change. Let that go. Let go at the arms, the legs. Go ahead and take a sip of water here. I'm going to do something I've never done in yoga before and grab my cup of coffee. I don't think this is advised. I definitely wouldn't do it if I was in an actual heated class the way it's supposed to be with the series. But I'm going to grab my cup of coffee and sip that while I'm having some water. Okay, take a sip, beverage of your choice. And we'll head into standing head to knee. So come back to the middle of the mat. Begin in Samastitihi. That is that mindful standing position. Take a breath here. And on your next inhale, bring right knee up. Bring it up to hip level. I like to kind of roll out the ankle here. So we're balancing just on the left foot with the right leg up. The leg is going to make a straight line out from the hip. Breathe right here. Stay here and just work on your balance. If you want to move into the next part, we're going to inhale up out of the waist, find length out of the waist, and that helps fold, hinge at the hip, and bring the upper body down to meet the leg. And you can take on hold of a bind here at the shin or ankle, or slide it all the way down to hang on to your foot. If you have your foot, and you can do this comfortably, pull the belly button in to protect the spine, and then take a basket weave grip under the foot. Breathe here. To move on to the next part, we'd inhale up about 2 inches and then slide the heel in front of us and hold that leg out straight. Flex the toes, bring them back towards your face. Breathe here and change. Wherever you are, just come out with the same amount of care that you went in. Okay, take a breath. Let it go on that side. Inhale, left knee up now. Take a minute to really make sure you've connected with this foundation, because standing on the one leg with this leg lifted is really key to moving into the pose and the next shapes that it takes. So make sure you're connected here. If you want to keep moving, inhale out of the waist, exhale, hinge at the hip and fold over that lifted leg. I'm wobbly, I'm going slow to make sure I've got it today. And you can take a grip at your shin, ankle, or the foot. Breathe here. If you've got it at the foot, take that basket weave grip. Breathe here. If you want to take it to the next step, inhale about 2 inches. And on an exhale, with belly button pulled in, slide the heel forward, both legs straight, toes flexed, coming back towards your face. And change. Let that go. Come out with care. Okay, let it go with a nice exhale, and we're going to move into dancer's pose. So, or in Bikram, they call it standing floor bow. So for this one, I turn and face the side of the room. You can do that too, or you can stay facing the computer or front of the room. Bring your right elbow to your right hip. Drop your palm facing out so that you can lift that right foot and meet it with your palm. Find that bind, that grip. Whew. I am just bouncing around today. Okay, so find there, your balance there. Inhale, left arm up. And the beginning of this pose is a kick of the right hand into a right foot into the right hand. So practice that kick. It turns on the right glute and it creates a tautness like a bow pulling back, an arrow pulling back in a bow. And then let that kick propel the upper body down and bring the arm down. Breathe here. And change. Come on out of it with care. Let it go. And turn around for the other side. Okay. I'm feeling some of these postures today in a good way. I mean, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like getting them and nailing them, but I'm also wobbly and all over the place. And that's the idea. This is supposed to be fun and loose and doesn't always have to look completely graceful. And that's fine. No one is going to judge, especially because we're all doing this in the privacy of our homes. Okay, so on the other side, left elbow meets left hip, drop the palm, and have it prepared to meet that left foot. And I even kind of like to open up at the hips when I bring it back. And I've met my foot here. Inhale, right arm up. Find steadiness in this foundational part of the posture before you move on. Kick that left foot into the left hand. And that turns on the glutes. It opens up the psoas. Go back and forth a few times if you need to. Let the kick propel the upper body down. And the hand goes along with it, as does your focus, your gaze. And change. Come on out. With care, inhale, both arms up here. Exhale, let it go. Samastitihi. This is a posture. Just take a breath here. Okay, great. Let's go to the back of the mat. Face the front of the room at the back of the mat for balancing stick. So back of the mat, feet together, samastitihi, and then inhale, arms up. Take a steeple grip. Biceps frame the ears and step forward on the left foot, just, like a foot or so in front of you, like you're taking a step. Come up onto the right toes very, very slowly and begin to lift those toes so that you're balancing once more on the left foot, and then lift that right leg as your upper body comes down. Arms are strong, hands are pulled towards the front of the room while the foot lifts behind you. Belly in and strong, hips square to the mat. And then pull yourself apart and lift, 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 and change. Set that right foot back. Left foot comes back to meet the right. Arms are turned on and engaged this whole time. You can switch the cross of your fingers if you want to. I just did it now to kind of balance out my steeple grip. Step forward again on the right foot. Come up onto the toes of the left. Catch your breath, I tell myself. Find something to gaze and focus on in front of you as you begin to lift that back left foot and lower the upper body down. Hands are being pulled towards the front of the room. Leg lifts high behind you. Pull them apart, belly in, and change. Drop the left foot, right foot meets left. Lower the arms right here. Good spot to take a drink of water and or coffee before we move into the next set of poses. If you were with me Monday, you know I wasn't feeling so strong Monday. I'm feeling stronger today and I'm really grateful for it. Okay, I hope you're finding that too as you do the same set of poses with me every week. You really get to figure out where you're at for the day, especially it's so great to do it in the morning because it really can give you a hint into the rest of your day. All right, let's come to the front of the mat. We're going for separate leg, deep, separate leg for, I can't, separate leg forward fold. Okay, inhale, arms up. Exhale, step the legs out so that they're about the length of one of your own legs and arms are to a T. I was telling myself I should start really practicing the Sanskrit. I know Sanskrit for the first 5 postures and then I've let it go for the rest. And now I can't even say the postures in English. So I've got some work to do. Okay, so we're standing here. Bend the knees, rock a bit, back and forth, loosen up at the hips and the ankles. Okay, bend, bend, bend. And prepare here with a micro bend in the knees to shoot the hips back first as you keep the chest lifted and come on down to the separate leg forward fold. And then drop the arms when you get halfway. So make sure your spine is straight here. You can reach back and feel a straight, strong spine. And if you feel that halfway down, you can continue to lift the hips and lower down at your limit. Keep a micro bend in the knees, and if you want to rock them back and forth side to side a bit, go ahead here. And then when you're ready, let the head and neck go. You want them to go last, but you do want them to relax. So let the head and neck go, and finally take a bind if it's comfortable by reaching back and grabbing your calves, your ankles, or the outside of your feet. And just experience this fold. Lift the hips high to the ceiling, hips high, crown of the head eventually towards, think of the crown of the head going towards the mat. Breathe here. Relax in the shoulders. Shake the head out to make sure the neck is relaxed. And change. So to come up safely, just come up halfway, let your arms support you. But then if you want to turn on core strength, bring the arms out to that T and use core to lift you up all the way. Try gracefully if possible in one movement to bring everything together at the top of the mat, arms above you. Exhale, let them go. Okay, moving into triangle here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, step those feet out once more, just like you were before, arms at the T. This is very similar to that last posture. The difference comes here. Lift the toes on the right side and turn those toes out towards the side of the room. So my hips are opening here. I've got one hip opening up as I bend the knee, and the other one is square more towards the front of the room. I'm going to make sure I sink down here with this straight leg, but it is strong and turned on, and the blade of the outside of my foot is parallel to the mat. So stay right here in this triangle if you want. You can also tick-tock the hands here for something more traditional. And if you want to take it a little deeper, when you tick-tock the arms, bring that bottom hand out. Have it nudge the knee open a little more as you sink down with your upper body, finally twisting to gaze at that raised arm. Palm faces the front. And breathe here. Legs are turned on. Turn the legs on like you're trying to squeeze a big beach ball in between your legs here. Breathe. And change. Let it go. Inhale, arms up. Turn the toes of that right foot. And now we're going to do the opposite side. So turn the toes of the left one to come out and bend at the knee. I go a few times just to make sure I am feeling it and where I'm feeling it to get there safely. Stay right here if you want for your triangle. Or tick-tock those arms, 6 and 12. That bottom hand can slowly kind of come out along the thigh and coax open the knee a little more. Now I've got that hip opening on the other side. Final expression, can lower down as you turn and a slight twist here to look at that raised top hand. Palm faces front. Both palms are facing front. Breathe here. Squeeze that big beach ball between your legs and change. Inhale, arms up at the T, toes turn in. Everything comes back together with one movement. Exhale, arms to your side. Okay, this is feeling good. Okay, so inhale, arms up. This is separate legs standing head to knee. Cross the hands in prayer. Cross the front thumbs with hands in prayer. Thumbs are crossed one in front of the other. Step out a little less wide than you were before. Not such a deep stance. And I'm just going to lift the toes and rotate everything over on the heels so you're facing the side of the room now. So everything should be square to the side of the room except that back foot, 45-degree angle for that back foot. So spine straight, belly strong. Inhale, find length here. Exhale, micro bend front knee and begin to dive over that front knee. This is going to be a hamstring stretch. It's separate legs standing head to knee, but it's also known as pyramid and vinyasa practice. Great hamstring stretch. Hands come down to the mat and they can separate here if you want to frame the foot and keep yourself balanced, or if you want to work on your balance, keep them in prayer. Final expression is to tuck the chin to the chest and bend the knee as much as you need to bring that knee to your forehead. And change. Keep the arms engaged as you bring yourself up slowly. That's core work to bring yourself up out of a fold, especially with the arms by your head. Now you're going to just turn everything over to the other side. So standing separate leg, head to knee, or pyramid on the other side. I'm headed with my left leg in front this time. Inhale, find length. Your hands are still in prayer position. I'm going to change the cross of my thumbs to change it up on this side. On an exhale, micro bend that front knee and dive over the front leg. The side is tighter for me. I can't go down as quickly or as far. And breathe here. If you want to do the final expression and get the head to the knee, tuck the chin towards the chest and bend the knee as much as you need to let it meet your forehead. And change. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Exhale, step everything to the front of the mat, let it go. Man, that's a tough posture for me. I have tight hamstrings, as do most of us, but it's a good one. It feels really good. It's just, it's tough. Okay, take a drink here if you need to. I'm going to grab some water, maybe a sip of coffee, and then we head into tree before we hit the floor. Okay, this is our last standing posture before we go to the floor. And I really like this one to sort of use it to kind of calm myself and find a little more center after some really challenging standing postures. Those last ones that we do are some of the harder ones as that standing series builds to those peak postures, and then we bring it on down. Okay, so we're preparing for tree here. I'm gonna have a strong foundation standing in my left foot. So comfortable standing there, and then windshield wiper, the hips open a bit on the right, 3 or 4 times. Once you've found an opening for yourself that feels good, come up on the toes first, and this is a foundation for tree. You can stay right here, or if you want to begin to work on balance, you lift the heels up and you can press that foot into your ankle or calf. If you want to make it higher, don't press it into the knee itself, but you can come on up to the inner thigh. And this is a tree you often see in vinyasa. If this feels good and you want to head to a Bikram tree, my foot just slid right down my slippery pants. If you want to go ahead into the traditional Bikram tree, that is to take your foot and let it meet the hip crease, where you begin a hip hinge, and you can hang on with both hands or one. See if you can bring that foot to the hip crease, and then let gravity bring your knee down. I learned the hard way not to force your knee down with your hand. And let's find your tree on this side, wherever it is. Play with some of those variations, and then just let's take a minute here in silence and a round of breathing. Okay, awesome. Let it go wherever you are. Gently let it go. Let that right leg come out. Do what it needs to do. My knee always needs to take a minute on that side. And then we're going to move over and find the foundation on the right side. So strong right side here. Windshield wiper, open the left. 3 or 4 times, whatever you need to do. I'm going to tuck my shirt here so I can know where my hip crease is. Okay, and then again, stay right here if you want. Balance on your toes and let this just be a hip opener with your knee out as far as you want it to go. Or if you want to begin to play with balance, bring your foot up. You can rest it along the calf. Just do not press it against the knee. If you bring it all the way up to your inner thigh, really press that foot into the inner thigh to hang on to this vinyasa tree. And then if you want to explore the Bikram part of things, bring it up to meet your hand in the hip crease. And if you can, fold at the hip crease a bit and create a shelf there. You can let the foot rest there as the knee comes down, foot opens up, and then let's take a breath wherever we are. Great, let's let it go. Okay, that was it for the standing series. We're gonna head to the floor now. So go ahead and lie down on your back for Shavasana. I'm gonna look at the comments real quick. Take a drink of water if you need to and lie down for Shavasana. All right, great to have you guys. I see at least one more person has joined since Monday, and it makes me happy. I'm glad someone joins. I have wondered what I would do if I ever showed up one morning and had no one here. So it's so great to have my regulars. Okay, lying down on your back, right? Relax into Shavasana. Okay, take a breath here. Really settle into feeling that mat underneath you. And on your next inhale, bring right knee up towards your chest for wind removing pose. So bring the right knee up, take a hold of it with your hands. And if it feels good to you, you can begin to open it up a bit more by pulling that knee towards your armpit and down the side body. You'll feel even more of a pinching happening in your hip crease there. Bring that knee down towards your armpit and flex the left foot like you're standing on that foot. It's turned on and strong. Engage the glutes if you want to feel an opening on your left front hip. And change. Go ahead and let that right knee come down. Now we inhale, left knee up towards the chest. Find a nice grip on your shin with your hands on the left side. Turn that right leg on, and then bring the left knee towards your armpit and side body. You'll feel more of a pinching on the left hip crease as you feel the opposite on the right, opening up on the right. Pull it down on the left. Engage that right leg and change. Let the left knee go. Inhale, both knees up and towards your chest. And you can rock a bit from side to side. Really feel the connection under your lower back to the mat. It's almost like a little massage when you rock side to side in this position. But ultimately, you want to just bring those knees towards your chest. Feel a pressing down. Press your tailbone down into the mat, even as you pull knees forward for a spine stretch. And then finally, you can tuck the chin towards your chest to lengthen out at the neck. I'm going to do that and not talk because I sound even more pinched up than I already do when I've got my chin tucked. So go ahead and do that now. Change. Let it go. Let those legs come down for Shavasana. Palms up towards the sky, heels in towards one another, and toes just fan open. Take a breath here in Shavasana. And we're headed to a yogi sit-up. So skip this one and do a push-up instead if you want, if you have back issues or avoid sit-ups. Otherwise, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit up. And touch the toes. Those two audible exhales you'll hear every time when I do a sit-up. It sounds like this. Okay, so roll over onto your belly for cobra. Onto your belly. Chin is square to the mat. Hands are pressing under your shoulders. Spread those fingertips nice and wide. Really turn them on. Zip up your cobra tail, which begins with your toes together, zipped up all along the calf and through the thighs. And then you're just going to inhale, slowly peel your body off the mat with your lower back. Lower back strength, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale a little higher. Breathe here. Hold this for a moment. Even bring your hands, let your fingertips hover off the mat. And change. Go ahead and let it go. Turn your arms out and down. Left cheek towards the mat for belly down Shavasana. Belly down Shavasana. Breathe here. Okay, and for half locust, we're going to flip the palms down on the mat and roll the hips side to side so that you can tuck those fingertips under your hip bones. Hip bones connect with your forearms. Pinkies touch underneath you. Turn your chin so that it's facing the front and stays glued to the mat through this first part. Chin on the mat. Inhale, right leg up. Lift just the right leg. Activate those toes and think of lifting out towards the back wall and then up. And then out, lengthen, and then up. And change. Let it go. Your hip bones are really pushing into the forearms here. Relax that right leg, lift the left. Left leg lifts out, back towards the wall, so it's a stretch long, and then a lift up. And then stretch long, lift up. Toes turned on, breathe, and change. Let it go. Now here, from your chin, put your mouth down on the mat and glue your lips. You may call it kissing the mat. Kiss the mat, and don't move those lips for this next part. Slide the pinkies down a little more towards the knees if you can. Fingertips towards the knees. Press the hip bones into the forearms and lift both legs. And change. Let that go. Bring your arms out. Let them go. Belly down Shavasana. Right cheek to the mat. Palms faced up. Just completely relax every time we're in Shavasana. Let everything just Flop open. Breathe here. Okay, now we're headed into full locust or airplane. So arms come out like airplane wings. Hands out, straight out from the shoulders. Zip up the cobra tail. And on an inhale, lift everything off the mat. Lift the legs, lift the chest. Breathe here. Lift, lift, lift. Lift the upper body, lift the lower body, lift the legs. Make sure your feet are turned on straight, legs straight, and change. Let it go. Left cheek on the mat this time, belly down, Shavasana. Breathe here. Really let it go when we're in these Shavasanas, just for a round of breath. It's a great reset between poses. Now bend the knees. We're headed into floor bow. So bend the knees, heels start to come up towards the booty. Turn your chin so that back's on the mat, straight, looking straight ahead. And if you cannot connect with your feet, just make the motion to head that way, knees bent and heels towards the booty, and just lift the upper body and just work on this. If you can connect feet to hands, take that grip, begin with your knees together, neck is relaxed, so give your head a little shake to make sure your neck is relaxed. Inhale it up, kicking those feet into the hands, floor bow. Breathe here. You can rock a bit on your belly and finally land on your upper belly so that you can lift, make a motion towards lifting the hip bones off the mat. Breathe here. And change, lower the knees and then let go of your grip. Turn your right cheek down on the mat for belly down Shavasana. Breathe here. Okay, we're headed into now a push-up. So turn those palms back under the shoulders. If you need to stay on your knees for a push-up, stay on your knees. Otherwise, head straight up and strong in one piece, ending at plank here, and then bring the knees up towards the front of the mat for fixed fern. Knees together at the front of the mat. Heels separate enough so that you can fit your hips down between your heels. I'm going to use a block today and sit back on a block. You can come on your block or a pillow, or you can lower your hips all the way to the floor, your choice. So go ahead and sit back, and I move the tissue out on my calves. Sit comfortably here, spine straight. It's an opening in the knees and an opening in the ankles, hips between your heels, and just breathe here. If you make it all the way back to the floor, or heading towards the floor, you can come back and rest on your elbows, or you can let that go and go all the way down to the floor. Final expression, and you can do this sitting up too, is to hold on to opposite elbows in front and top of your head here. So just find your fixed fern. And let that go. Arms come down. You can press your hands on your heels to lift yourself up if you've gone all the way to the floor. I'm going to move my block and then just spin around to lie down on your back for Shavasana. Enjoy the Shavasana. Let everything go. Sink down into the mat. Palms up towards the ceiling. Let's take a breath together. And we're headed to that yogi sit-up. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit up. Come on over, touch the toes. That's always a quick little hamstring stretch between postures. And then we're going to turn around, come to the back of the mat for half tortoise. So sitting on the back of your mat, bottom is sitting down on the heels, knees together. Inhale, arms up. Take prayer grip with your hands, prayer grip, thumbs crossed at the front. Inhale, find length out of the waist, and exhale, slowly lower down. Lots of control here. Try to keep your hips heavy on your heels, your forehead and nose. The goal is for them to touch the mat first, and then the blades of your pinkies open up at the armpits. So keep hips heavy on your heels, blades of the pinkies pressing into the mat to really turn on the arms and open at the armpits. And change. Turn on the core by keeping those biceps framed at your ear and coming up with control, arms down, and turn around, lie back on your mat for Shavasana. Breathe here. Okay, we're headed to the yoga sit-up. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit up. Come around, touch the toes. And to the front of your mat for camel. So you know I like to take a block here or anything you've got around the house that is approximately the shape and texture of a block so that you can slide it between the inner thighs and squeeze it between those inner thighs this whole time. That really turns on the inner thighs and also helps stabilize the knees. So come to the top of your mat on your knees. You're straight over your knees and your calves and heels are straight behind the knees. I'm going to inhale and lift at the chest, open up at the chest, roll my shoulders back and put my hands in some imaginary back pockets in my yoga pants. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, push those hips towards the front of the room. Inhale, chest lifts. So you can stay right here and try to bring those elbows together behind you, pointing behind you. If you want to head towards the final expression, if you can keep your hips over your knees and have this bend and lift of the chest, you can start to reach back and find your heels with your fingertips. So I'm just going to do one at a time today just to check in. I'm not totally there this morning. Breathe here. And wherever you are, change with control. Turn on that core the entire time you're coming out of camel. You're going to release the block and turn around and lie down for Shavasana. Breathe here. Just let everything go. Let it become really heavy on the mat. It really takes practice to really get into the Shavasana in this series. And once you do, oh man, it's just great. It's such a great release in between each posture. And to be able to cultivate the ability to turn that on and off is a gift, I think. So inhale, arms up, and then you let it go right away because you go into a sit-up. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, sit up. Come on over, touch the toes, and head to the back of the mat now for rabbit. So in rabbit, you know that this is the only posture where I will begin a fold at the chin and the upper body instead of a hip hinge. So you're sitting back on your heels, hands come back and find the heels. Look straight ahead. Inhale, find your length, and on an exhale, pull the belly in first and tuck that chin to the chest. Pull the belly button in, suck it in, chin to chest, and follow that fold down, leading it from the top of the body all the way down. Forehead slides down, knees, crown of the head eventually meets the mat, and grip onto your heels with your hands as you lift your hips. The idea here is for your knees to stay near the forehead. Pull the belly in, lift the hips, and change. Go ahead, come out like you came in, so keep the chin tucked down that whole time until it is the last to come up. Turn around and lie down on your backs for Shavasana. Oh, that one felt good too. Breathe here. And we'll head into that yoga sit up. So inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, sit up. Touch the toes. And come to the middle of your mat now for separate leg stretching. So left leg stays in here, right leg comes out. You want to feel both sit bones underneath you here. So that means you may have to make some adjustments, move the tissue out from under you. Left leg in, right leg out. You know, you can stay. I know everyone is at such different levels and depending on the side and the day too. So stay wherever feels good for you, including right here if you want to add a little more. Inhale, find length and arms up. Exhale, twist. And I say that because that exhale lets air out and allows you to go deeper into a twist as you lower the chest down towards the leg, hands towards the foot or the calf, wherever you want to be. And you can let your head and neck go last if you want. Just keep a micro bend in your knee to protect your spine. So you really don't want this like exaggerated rounding of your back. You want to lead with the chest so your spine stays straight. And breathe here. Okay, so let that go. Go ahead and come on up off the right leg and we'll switch legs out. So now my right leg comes in, left leg is out. Make all the adjustments you need to really feel your sit bones underneath you. Each side is different. So feel this connection right here and stay here and just breathe. If you want to come along with me, we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist. Let the air out of your diaphragm there as you fold. Chest leads towards the knee. I am so much tighter on this side. Breathe here. And you can hold and stay still in the stretch. And you can also, I mean, I like to play around. You see that I just play around and figure out what is tight where. Not that I can do, you know, a ton about it every day, but at least I know, I'm aware of it. Okay. Let's come on out of that. And we're going to have both legs straight out in front of us and move them both in front of you. Again, move the tissue out from under you so that you can really feel a connection on the mat. Toes are turned on and flexed and back towards my face. That really turns on the legs. And just sit here if you want. This is a great practice, just sitting with both legs out in front of you, knees slightly bent and toes turned on. So stay right here, or if you want to come with me, we inhale, arms up once more. Exhale, pull your belly button in as the air goes out of your diaphragm. Lead with the chest over your knees. And you can bend the knees as much as you want if you want to rest the belly on the thighs with knees bent, and let your head and neck go if you want, if you have that connection with knees bent. And change, inhale it back up. And we're going to do final spinal. I'm going pretty well on time, better than I normally do, although it is 9 o'clock. So let's do final spinal, breath of fire, and we'll call it a day. So for final spinal, right leg over left. Got a twisting of those legs, one on top of the other. You can stay here if you want to just have the legs relaxed, or if you want to turn it on a little more, press that right foot into the mat. Inhale, the arm up behind you. Exhale, and twist over the top leg. And if you want to take a bind here, you can take the left hand and hook it around, find that knee, or hang on to the foot. Breathe here. Remember, inhale lengthens and fills up your diaphragm and lifts the chest. And exhale empties things out, lets the belly button come in, and lets you have a little more depth to your twist. Lead the twist with the belly button. Don't force it with the neck or head. And change. Go ahead and untangle yourself and change the cross of your legs. This time the left is over the right. If you have any mobility issues on either side of the legs, you can keep this bottom one straight. That's always an option. You can relax the legs here, or if you want to turn it on a little more, press that left foot into the mat. Make that connection. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, twist over to the side of the top leg. Find whatever bind you want and work on how the breath guides you when you're in this posture. So you inhale and find length in the chest and an expansion, and then exhale, Find more twist leading with your belly button as it pulls in. The air leaves your body and that allows you to twist a little deeper. Nod and shake your head to make sure your neck is not tensed up there. And change. Go ahead and come on out. And we'll head into breath of fire. So just find a comfortable seated position. Take one more drink of water if you want, or coffee. Did I lost my coffee. Okay. Seated position. Just get comfortable. Practice for just a minute what this breathing feels like by putting your hands on your belly, and on an exhale, your belly goes in, and you can kind of feel that with your hands. Okay, so after you've gotten a feel for that, relax the hands, find a comfortable position for your hands so that your shoulders can relax. Let's inhale here together and exhale together. Inhale halfway and begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let all that air go. Okay. Traditionally, we take at least a 2-minute Shavasana. I'd like to do that here. I forgot on Monday because I had to pee really bad. So I ended it after breath of fire and shut off the video so I could go to the bathroom. But after I was done, I was like, we forgot something. It was Shavasana. And I really believe that Shavasana is so important to bookend the end of your practice, integrate the things that you just did with your body into whatever thoughts that came up in your mind, and let that all sort of sit together. And just take a minute. I mean, it's not often we take 2 minutes is at least minimum to just mindfully be still and breathe. So let's do that now. It's a super vulnerable position. And, you know, often I tell myself when I'm heading back into it, I remind myself that I'm safe and that I need to let myself lie here and take it all in. So find a comfortable position to lay down. It translates to corpse pose. I think of Shavasana as a mini death, and you let yourself take that. You let yourself take a mini death. It's all a practice. And so we're practicing letting go and taking that death here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give us 2 minutes, and I'll let you know when we're ready. If you find that your mind wanders and you start to really lose track of what you're doing and your breathing and where you are, that's fine. Just notice it. Notice that it wandered. Notice what you were thinking about. Don't hold any judgment or try to empty it out. Just recognize it, and then see if you can't remind yourself to just come back to your breathing and what we're doing right now. Okay, so believe it or not, that was a quick 2 minutes, and no need to jump right up unless, I mean, you have to because you have somewhere you've got to be. I don't have anywhere I've got to be until at least the end of May in California. But begin to introduce some movement back into your body if you're ready to move on with the rest of your day. Wiggle your fingers or toes. Blink open your eyes. Just begin to wake yourself up a bit. If you find it comfortable to roll onto one side and push yourself up from a fetal position, go for it. I'll meet you back in a comfortable seated position. And that was that. So, like I said before, thank you for joining me. I'm so thankful that someone, at least one person, my awesome cousin, I think maybe her daughter too, and I know my friend Liz will be coming back. I have faith. It's awesome. It's awesome to know that there's going to be a reason for me to keep this thing going because it's good for me too. So I'm headed in to keep doing it at least through May. Our shelter in place order has extended throughout that month as well. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Keep it up. You are doing great. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday morning when I lead a vinyasa, and then we'll do a Friday afternoon happy hour, and we'll do it all again next week. So hang in there, you fellow quarantine friends and yogis, and spread the joy. And when you're not feeling the joy, that's okay. Notice that too, and know that it's okay. All right, namaste. Love you guys.